gonna let Will up to do the introduction, and then he's going back down.
Are you?
One second.
Yes, God, nigga. Yes, yes, yes. The big W back in here again. Foreign note on this trash, ugly, tranny, dog shit, turtleneck.
All right, yeah. Can you just bring him down? Like, I'm not comfortable with him doing the introduction.
Yeah. Anyways, today we have Marcy versus Ash on Theism and Alethea. Discord.gg/Alethea. Make sure everyone join.
Okay, that's it. I thought her mic cut off. All right. Is the argument going to be formalized?
No, I don't have a formal argument, but I could give one. But I don't know.
All right, go ahead, boss.
Do you want me to give a formal argument or informal argument?
No, it doesn't matter.
Right, yeah. So I'm just gonna be using the per se causal chain argument. Are you aware with the cosmological arguments?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the idea for cosmological arguments, but you can specify
the per se causal chain argument.
The causal chain.
The per se causal chain argument.
Per se causal chain. Explicate it.
Yeah, right. So it's just the argument just goes essentially just saying like there's a set of contingent beings, and the set of contingent beings, they must require some sort of actualizer for their existence, and anything else like the competing hypotheses wouldn't work for the against the necessary instantiator, usually due to because they lead to a contradiction or they're incoherent. So the best explanation for the set of contingent things is an instantiator, a necessary instantiator. Or just you can even swap out necessary instantiator with just the first member.
Beautiful.
And
so
take the
when we affirm the proposition that God exists, what's meant there by God and what's meant by existence?
Yeah, God could just be this first member of the set. This necessary first member of the necessary first member of the set of contingent beings, and you could just contribute to having some omni properties or whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's just all it is just the first member that's necessary that starts the set of contingent beings. And the set of contingent beings, by the way, could just be people, the universe, etc. Just anything that's contingent.
What's meant by existence?
Existence in the sense of how Aquinas uses it. So existence just being act.
Okay. Okay, you said that, and I just want to be clear because I'm just typing this down. You said that God is a first necessary member, a necessary first member of a set.
Yeah, the set of contingent beings. He instantiates their existence.
Okay, what's meant by contingent?
Contingent just being they could fail to exist and they're relying upon some being. Like contingent, sure. Just meaning that they could fail to exist specifically.
And you said that you're taking Aquinas' view about existence.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why does it need to be the case that a first necessary member has to exist rather than just the explanatory chain?
What do you mean by an explanatory chain?
We could just have an explanatory chain that determines whether it's the case that there's a brute contingent fact. So why can't we just have one of those instead of saying that there is going to be a first necessary member of a set?
So you're asking me why could it not be the case that there's a brute contingency that explains this causal set?
Yeah.
Right. So, well, the problem with the brute contingencies is just that they're contradictory. They cannot exist. If you want me to explicate on that, Ken.
Okay, you said that there's contradictions, and you're just referring to logical contradictions, right? Yo, boss, you there?
My phone. My grandma's talking to me. Sorry, what?
Okay, yeah. I'm just asking, can you identify logical contradictions there?
Right. So we're occupying contingencies, root contingencies, just to be contingent facts that exist without any explanation. Right.
Okay.
I'm asking you, is that the view you're taking for root contingencies?
Well, I'm just using it in the same way that you understand it. So we could just talk about the standard usage
Ooh.
in philosophy.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, a contingent being is just one whose essence does not include existence, right? So, because its essence does not necessitate its existence, the being does not exist by its own nature. So, it exists and does not exist at the same time. That's why it's a contradiction.
Wait. Okay, so you said that there's an essence.
Yeah.
Okay, so a contingent being has an essence.
Yeah, because all essence is what a thing fundamentally is, right? So, like, there's the entire section that talks about act and potency. Are you aware of act and potency?
Okay.
Yeah, so act and potency, act is existence, essence is just potency, the potentiality to exist, right? So if we take it that all it is just essence is just the fundamental what a thing is and its potentiality, at least how Aquinas understands it. Well, then it's just the case that every single thing that exists has an essence, at least within the contingent set. So for a brute fact to exist, it has to have an essence.
Okay, hold on. Because before we get into essences and then Aquinas talks about existence and all those things, we need to prove the thing that's in question. So what I'm putting into question is, why is it the case that there's a contradiction? You're saying there's a contradiction because there's essences in every contingent being. And then
I said that the reason why brute fact is contradictory is because a contingent being is one whose essence does not include existence, right? Because its essence does not necessitate its existence. The being does not exist by its own nature, right? So since the being does not have existence by virtue of what it is, it must receive existence from another. So to claim a contingent being is just a brute fact is to claim it possesses existence without receiving it from its essence. And without receiving it from an external cause, which leads it to being a P and not P.
Okay, well, one thing I'm confused about is I don't know why anyone should think that how essence and existence are going to be really distinct there in reality, rather than just saying that they're conceptually distinct.
What does that mean? Like
well, I'm just asking why it's the case that there is going to be a real distinction.
Yeah, because all act and okay, so all like existence is just act, and act is the instantiator for the essence. That's why there's a distinction. Because you wouldn't say that there's no distinction between something which causes something and that which is caused.
Well, we can just put that because when you're like, if you're just like because when you're appealing to like Aquinas's view about existence, and you're saying, well, you're saying existence is an act, and that essence is just a potency with respect to existence. I'm confused why anyone should like accept the Thomistic identification of existence with acts. So why is it the case that when we're talking about existence, it necessarily needs to be in correlation, some type of relation with acts?
1 second. I have to clarify that like sometimes I won't be able to hear what you say because I'm using an interface and my interface disconnects randomly. So could you just repeat what you just said?
Yeah. Look, it's fine. Yeah, I'm asking why anyone should accept the Thomistic identification of existence with act. So why is it the case that anyone should accept this type of view with how existence is going to be in relation with act? Or can you argue for it independently of the Thomist view?
All right, sorry. The question you're asking me is why should anyone accept the relation between existence and act?
Yeah, because the relation only exists there in virtue of the Thomistic view. So I want to know if it's the case that you can argue for that type of view, independent of what Thomism is saying. So, and then after you can just explicate why existence can't simply just be a fundamental feature of reality, rather than just saying
right. The reason. Okay, so the reason why we accept it is simply because it adequately explains the difference between mere possibility and actual reality, right? So with the Thomas account, one can fully understand what a thing is without knowing if it is, right? So you can define like a phoenix or some other creature perfectly, yet these things do not exist, right? So that's just specifically talking about essence with respect to potential or potentiality, right? So it proves that essence alone does not guarantee reality. It is merely a potential to exist. Right? And just to be clear, for a thing to transition from being a mere concept in the mind to a reality in the world, something must be added. So since the essence does not provide this, existence must be the act that actualizes the essence. I mean, without this act, the essence remains, unreal.
Okay, yeah.
So I mean, that's
So,
reasons why.
So when you just say that, like, I understand that theories like showing that, because I don't think that just simply showing a theory or showing that a theory explains something doesn't really show that it's going to be our only or our best explanation for why we should accept that view. So you could just explain why I should prefer your like metaphysical account of existence over competing other competing accounts, because we could just be humanists about those types of things. So we could just reject any necessary causal powers in reality. So like you can explain to me, well, number one, why should we accept this metaphysical account of existence, and why isn't a human account or Humean account, for example, going to be sufficient for this type of thing?
But sorry, can you repeat that? Like, I'm not getting what you're asking there.
Yeah, boss. Look, I'm just trying to figure out why anyone should accept your because I don't think showing that a theory can explain something doesn't really show why it's going to be our best explanation or why it's going to be the only explanation for.
Yeah, the
Uh,
claim isn't that it's the only. The claim that's on the table isn't that it's the only explanation. The claim
or
is just that The claim is just that contrary to other hypotheses, right? Like they like don't really adequately explain it the same way. I mean,
okay,
like literally all you have to do is give some sort of theory in which adequately explains it better than the view that I'm taking. In
okay.
such which there isn't any theory. There
Look,
isn't any view
boss,
that's been
we're
presented so
running
far.
into an issue. So, look, all I'm trying to okay, the obviously the claim here is that okay, your metaphysics best explains why we should accept the view. And now what I'm putting into question is why anyone should like prefer the metaphysical accounts that you're laying out here,
I
and
explained it.
why a Humean account isn't going to be sufficient or even account for this type of
Well,
explanation.
yeah, I just explained that.
You,
Like
no,
I
you,
lit-
no, you didn't.
wait,
No,
I
no.
didn't
Okay, look,
explain
what
it.
you said was that you said okay, you said that the rivaling hypothesis for like other views, like a human view, you said, well,
Hmm.
those aren't going to adequately explain or give any type of justification for the metaphysics that we're going under there. I'm asking why the human account doesn't suffice or doesn't suffice there.
The human account? Can you map out the human account?
Yeah. So obviously, this type of view is going to be associated with David Hume. All we're saying there is that we're rejecting any necessary causal powers in reality, and that the world is going to be it's just made of particular facts. So the causation is just going to be a pattern or regularity. It's not like an intrinsic metaphysical relation like it would be with the Thomas account. That's all we're trying to say.
Wait, sorry, what? Say that again?
Bro. Yeah. So the human account is just saying that we're rejecting necessary causal power within reality. All and that reality is just a collection of particular events and objects. And how we observe that certain events regularly follow others. So we can just call those regularities causation or whatever. I'm asking why
Yeah, I
that type
mean,
of account would it be so.
so you'd agree that David Hume's view explains sequence of events, right?
Yeah, that's yeah. You said
Yeah.
sequence of
So
evidence.
no, sequence of events. Right. The reason
Sequence of-
why the reason why like a Thomas account the reason why a Thomas account would be would explain data better, or at least they would explain the same exact data adequately. Or not even as like the same, but like the reason why I'd even say it's better is because it explains the depth of existence rather than just the sequence of events. So Hume specifically talks about observing sequence of events and then saying something like the cause of an entire universe is a category error. right? Like you would agree that Hume says something like that,
Hmm.
right? So Humeans just would like, just tying this into the brute fact example. Humeans often accept the universe as a brute fact, something that just is without further explanation, right? And it describes how things change, but the question of why there is something rather than nothing.
Okay,
But
well,
the Thomist view distinguishes essence and existence, right? So it provides an explanation for contingency, instead of like saying that, positing any sort of brute fact example. So that because a thing's nature doesn't guarantee its existence must be caused, right? So it avoids the arbitrariness of brute facts. So it explains not just how things, or like, doesn't explain how things move specifically, but why they are at all. So it explains the depth more than a human view would.
okay, you're kind of just going over the same like about the death point. Okay, look, okay, I can grant that the Domus account offers a deeper like explanation. I don't see like the issue with granting that. Now what I'm putting into question is why anyone should think that the deeper explanation of a certain view is going to mean that it's automatically true, or that it justifies a metaphysical view there. Because I don't think that death alone is just going to, or I don't think that death alone just implicates that there's going to be evidence for that type of view. So you can go ahead and explain
What
that.
are you? Wait, what are you talking about? What?
Because, boss, look, when you say that, okay, well, there's more depth than the Humean account, so it seems that if it's more depth, then it would better account for that type of view rather than the other the other
Yeah, but
hypothesis.
you
There, I
agree.
don't.
Wait. So like the entire point with the fact that on the Thomist account you avoid arbitrariness with brute facts example.
What's meant by
You don't think
arbitrary,
that's
boss?
simply, we can just take like you can just, isn't really anything like too different. Like you can just take like a standard view of arbitrariness.
Well, I
And
need to
yeah,
know what that is.
like I
I need
said,
to know like what
you
that
don't know
means.
what
Like, are you just saying
arbitrary
that?
means standardly.
Look, because if you're just saying that you're using arbitrary in the standard philosophical sense, then the way that I look at that is just meaning that a view is going to be unexplained or there's lacking sufficient reason and stuff like that. So if that's what you mean by arbitrary, then I would ask you to explain why that's the case, why the view is going to be or remain less arbitrary than the Humean accounts, and then and if you already answer that by saying, well, the arbitrariness disappears once it's the case that he's explaining, or the Thomist view explains the death. Okay, I'm still confused why the death alone is going to be evidence as to why should someone accept the view, and why it's going to be the true, like a true view that anyone should accept.
Uh,
Do you
Sorry,
want to
I'm
conclude?
confused. No, I don't want to conclude. Sorry,
Oh
I'm
my.
confused on what you're saying there.
Okay, well, what's confusing? Because I'm not saying anything that's actually confusing.
Yeah, I'm like actively reading chat at the same time, so like I'm not hearing what you're saying specifically.
We
So
probably shouldn't do that. Look, what I'm
yeah,
putting
just
into
read.
question is why it's
Yeah.
the case that the deeper explanation, or yeah, the deeper explanation going into depth about existence, whatever, and like all those different types of
Mhm.
relations. I'm just confused as to why that would then explain that the view's then going to be true, and why it's the case that that view would remain less arbitrary than the other hypothesis. Bro, can we just conclude? Like, they're not answering, bro. Like,
Yeah, for the judges, let me know if you want to force conclusions.
all right, wait, his grandma came in, so I'm just give it like.
Make sure you guys say who's winning in the polls channel. Just cast your vote. Right now, Ash is winning.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to a couple people while we're here already.
Oh,
I just want to first of all give a shout out to Emmy. I want to give a shout out to Morax. I want to give a shout out to my best friend Ari. I want to give a shout out to Nini for hosting and owning the best Discord server of all time. I want to give a shout out to TJ. I want to give a shout out to Gyro. I want to give a shout out to, let's see. I want to give a shout out to Pathos. I want to give a shout out to Jillian. I want to give a shout out to Careless for beating up all these niggas. Typical Archie. This is beating up all these niggers. I don't like Careless, but still, I mean, so. But anyways, I just want to give a shout out to TSB Cats. I want to give a shout out to. Yeah, that's it. I want to give a shout out to Typical Duff. I want to give a shout out to Hermes. He's all right sometimes.
and we also want to give a special shout out to KG Lounge. Since the server is like amazing, it's the best server around. Shout out polar.kg, shout out cap.kg, shout yeah,
What's it called? Oh yeah, I want to give a shout out to Script. I mean, I think that nigga's retarded, but let's give a shout out to one of my favorite Asians. You're really smart. Keep doing calculus. I want to give a shout out to Michaela. I want to give a shout out to Sax. Oh, sorry, my fault. I want to give a shout out to Crimson. He's chill sometimes. I'm gonna give a shout out to everyone in the server. I mean, like, it's like everyone's chill. This is one of my favorite servers. I mean, all you niggas are like, bro.
for the chat, don't you guys love Alethea? Like, isn't this the best server around right now?
I want to give a shout out to Somber KG. I mean, that nigga's a little bit weird sometimes. Maybe he's a little bit autistic. I mean, I don't really mind. I want to give a shout out to Nene. That's one of my best friends. We need to play Minecraft once the PC gets fixed. I want to give a shout out to my mother for birthing me, being the best mom in the world. Happy
Wait,
Mother's
I
Day,
want to
happy
give a shout
Father's
out to
Day.
Gyro's mother. I want to give a shout out to Gyro's father.
Yo, I can't, boss. Um, I want to give a shout out. Not giving a shout out to Polar. Fuck KG Revenge. None of you niggas is getting emotion. You niggas is dog shit. Fuck KG. Fuck Cap. Cuck nigga Cap. Fuck Polar.
Okay,
Fuck
guys.
Pyro. My fault. Want to give a shout out to a cool guy. I mean, he's chill sometimes. One of the smartest people on the server. No glaze.
Wait, while we wait, we're gonna bring up some people to say your opinion on this current debate and who do you think is winning. So first,
Don't
Polar.
bring up y'all first. Oh my god.
It's obvious my king Marcy is winning. If you disagree, you're a retard.
Glaze. Can't even
Alright,
name
I'm
one
back.
point debate, dumbass nigga.
Oh,
Anyways.
okay.
Shit. Okay.
You
Hello.
remember what was
So
going on?
yeah, you're asking me why does like a view being more like in depth mean that it's true? You're asking me?
Yeah, and then you can just explain why it's the case that the view is going to be less arbitrary than the human account.
Yeah, so I don't take it that because a view is more in depth, that means it's more true. Right. I just take it that like literally in any so I'm sure you know what the IBE is, right? So it's
No,
just
I
the
don't know what
inference
it
to
is.
the best yeah, it's just the inference to the best explanation.
Okay.
So for any view, given that it has more explanatory virtues, and given that it explains more stuff, it has more explanatory power. I mean, it gets the inference to the best explanation, right? It doesn't mean that a view is more true. It just means that a view explains things better. And then you talked about, you asked me why is it the case that it's more arbitrary or it's less arbitrary than a human view? Well, Yeah, I mean, earlier what I was explaining was just that it talks about it doesn't talk about brute facts and its contingency, right? Well, it explains how things are at all, right? And in the human account, um, it just accepts that something is specifically without any sort of explanation for why it exists, versus the Thomas account, which just says, hey, well, this is even an explanation for why something even is in the first place, when the human account doesn't do that. I mean, it just accepts that something is without any explanation. I mean, you obviously get more explanatory power from that. That's why it's less
Mm,
arbitrary.
okay. All right. Yeah. So look, I mean, if you're just saying that's okay, yeah, if we have more explanatory power, then it seems that the more explanatory power in a hypothesis makes it more likely to be true, or just gives us more reasons to accept that type of thing. I mean, look, I mean, I guess I can like accept that. I just don't think that IBE is just going to be the type, or even be one of the type of things, or one of the criterion, or only criterion to accept a certain view. But
Well, that's
look,
not the point I was
I
making. That's completely fine. I don't mean to cut you off. Though, you can go.
no, you're good, boss. Now I understand that's your. Correct me if I'm wrong, but your theory satisfies the PSR, correct?
Yep.
Cool, right. So why should anyone accept the PSR in the first place? And also,
Well, how?
before you
So, are
answer the
you just
question,
caching? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So also, I don't. I also want to be clear about like a human view. So, like, eh, I just want to be clear for the audience that humanism actually demonstrates that there are going to be like obviously other rivaling metaphysical frameworks that are capable of accounting for the same phenomenon without having to use stomistic commitments. So, like saying act versus potency, like essence versus like accidental properties, you don't have to make those types of commitments, but you would still get the same type of explanation without having to make these extra commitments. Until there's actually a compelling reason to prefer those the Thomism over those alternative views. So I don't think that the cosmological argument is just going to establish the conclusion there because of that. And yeah, that's it, boss. You can go ahead and answer the question about PSR.
So yeah, I see what you did. Just snuck that part in there. You just kind of snuck that in. But look, so um, I'm guessing I'm not even sure what specific thing you're asking. Like, I'm not sure if what you mean is why should we accept the PSR. You mean a specific version of the PSR, the strong weak PSR. I'm not sure what you're asking. Unless you're just asking why should we accept the PSR in its totality. I mean, then I
Yeah,
could
why
answer that
should
question, but I
everyone
just don't
accept
know what you're asking.
PSR simpliciter, boss?
Why should we accept PSR simpliciter?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we agree that at least the way that stipulating PSR is just to claim that every contingent fact has an explanation.
Okay, yeah.
Right. And do you take it that if we reject that, then we lead to skepticism?
Look, I'm not going to answer any questions until you justify why anyone should accept PSR. If not, we can just conclude.
What?
Look, because I'm not going to answer. I'm just not interested in like answering any questions. All right, like I just need you to justify PSR under your view. So I'm asking without asking me questions. You don't need me to help justify your view, so you could do it yourself.
All right. So sorry, I didn't hear anything you just said because my interface is connected. But here, look. So, um, so I mean, look. So we can just give a reason for why we should accept the PSR. Denying the PSR would lead to making knowledge impossible. I mean, I can explicate on that. I mean, it literally is just so if a thing can happen or exist without a sufficient reason, then the reality is fundamentally arbitrary. So if the PSR is false, you cannot be certain that your room remains unchanged while you are away. So like that's just a reason for why we should adopt the PSR, because it just leads into knowledge just being impossible. Because again, like I said, all the PSR is just that every contingent fact has an explanation, and that explanation doesn't just specifically have to be for why it exists. It just has an explanation in general. But I mean, you can take the PSR account that just talks about, well, it has an explanation for why it exists.
Yeah, Alright, I'll ask you one more question, and then like when we were talking about what's it called? What were we talking about? We were talking about humanism versus those Thomism, whatever. Um, so you do agree that that doesn't really equal that, okay, the view is then true, or that explanation doesn't really equal that the view is true, but you think that the more that the more explanation that the view has give us more reason to accept the view, right? I just wanted to be clear on that, and then I'm gonna respond. Oh my fucking god, bruh. This is the second time this has happened. Do y'all
Sorry,
watch Love
I
Island?
didn't hear you, bro. My interface keeps disconnecting, bro.
You're all good. So I just want to be clear that it's not the depth explanation that makes the view true, but it's more so. It's more
Are we
so
like
the
going back to the depth point again? Come
yeah.
on,
I'm
bro.
sorry. I did want to respond to. I'm so sorry. Okay. If you don't want to, go on that point, we don't have to. But can I
Yeah,
just
like
respond?
I'd rather not go back to the depth point
All
again.
right, dumbass bitch. Look, I'm gonna just reply anyways, because who the fuck are you? Look. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry. Look. I just want to be clear that the type of explanation there, or more explanation that a view gives us more reason to accept it, correct?
Wait, sorry. I'm just not gonna answer any question until
All
it
right, well,
gives
that's
more
already what he
point.
said earlier. He already committed himself to saying that. But we understand that giving or having more explanatory power does often come with making more commitments. And it seems that Thomism is going to posit more commitments with more explanation that the view gives. Obviously, the commitments that you're making is like, talking about essences,
I've heard
acting
everything you said.
potency, all that bullshit. Like, yeah, that shit's stupid. So I don't understand how we're going to be balancing the explanatory power against the like ontological commitments that we're making there. And also about you, and you were giving the defense for PSR. I just want to be clear, correct? And you said that the
Defense for
defense
the
for PSR is
PSR.
that, well, if we don't have like, or if something, okay, if
You
something
want to
exists as
conclude after
contingent,
this?
yeah, can I just respond to your point, bitch?
Yeah,
Fuck.
no, you can. I was just chill. Jeez, I don't know why you're getting so
I'm sorry. I'm
hostile.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just get a little bit rhetorical, bro. But look, I just want to be clear that if something that's contingent exists without any fundamental reason for its existence, then like you said that reality remains arbitrary. We don't understand if, or we won't know if something remains unchanged or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we won't know
Oh,
if things
well, boss, look,
remain unchanged.
okay, well, I don't understand why allowing one brute fact would just imply that everything is now arbitrary. Can you explain that to me, and then we can just conclude?
By allowing one brute fact would I'm not what?
Yeah, why is it the case
I don't
that if
really
we have one brute fact within reality, that everything then would become
wait,
arbitrary? Can you
everything.
explain that? Because it seems that doesn't follow. It doesn't follow at all.
That one brute fact, if one brute fact existed, that everything would become arbitrary?
Yeah, that's what the view implies.
What?
Yeah, that's look,
I mean,
because you're saying that
look, yeah,
you're
look. I
confused
mean, I
about the
explained.
question because look, your reasoning is just
Mhm.
saying, what's it called? If one contingent thing exists, or if one contingent facts can be brute, then reality is gonna be fundamentally arbitrary. I'm explaining why is one brute fact gonna imply that everything else in reality is gonna remain arbitrary then. That's why I'm putting into question, boss. All right, we can just conclude. This nigga's not answering the question. And also, I'm just confused. Like, like, oh my god, bro. I don't want to be rude. I also have an objection to the little analogy you gave. He said, "Well, if we leave our room, like when we come back, we won't know if it's unchanged or not." I want him to, sorry, her to explain that. Yo, can we kick Materia for being weird? This nigga's like really strange. Fuck.
All right, bro. I'm back. Sorry, my fault. I was just drinking water. But
Don't worry,
yeah,
boss.
yeah. So
Yeah.
the
Did you
question
hear the
that
two
you were
questions I
asking,
just asked you?
No, I didn't hear the two. I only remember the one question you asked me, which is, why is it the case that one brute fact, why is it the case that one brute fact existing would imply like a reality going to, or like reality being explained or something like that?
Yeah,
Or you can just
fundamentally,
re-ask
why
the
is the
question.
proof that reality is going to then be arbitrary?
Right. So it's just specifically one.
Well, I mean, whether it's like, I don't see how that's relevant, but whether
If you
let's
accept
just stick
that's
with one for now. Well, can you explain the relevance before we get into that,
does
boss?
one tie into some?
You said one, does one tied into some? What do you think or what do you think a brute fact is, boss?
I said, does one tie into some?
What?
Does one tie into some?
Does one brute fact tie into another?
No,
What do you, then why are you asking me that? What are you asking me?
because I think if you accept that some things can exist without a reason, you must explain why only those specific things are brute facts while other requires explanations.
Well, bro.
Yeah, we can conclude. We can conclude. Don't worry. We can conclude.
Oh, well, can you respond to the objection for, or sorry, can I give the objection for the unchanged room thing?
I mean, even
Because
if
you
I
were
said
giving
no,
that
you
little
would still go
analogy.
ahead. But even if even if I said no, you would respond to it anyways. I mean, go ahead.
You know what, bitch? Look. Okay, so you said why, or you asked me why, or if we have one thing, is it going to be tied into some?
So are
Yes
you
or
giving
no?
an example to? Are you giving an example? Are you gonna like respond to the analogy that we were talking about earlier?
Oh, I was still stuck on the first point.
You said you were gonna give the response to the
Yeah,
analogy.
I can do that after we're done with this objection. So you understand that committing yourself to saying that if we allow one brute fact, that doesn't necessarily mean that everything becomes brute, right? And we can easily make that type of distinction. So do you want to go ahead and respond? Yo, you want to respond?
I think it's best you guys conclude. I don't like, bro.
Yeah, we can just fucking conclude.
Yeah, look, guys, I'm just gonna force conclude.
I don't know who the fuck he is. He's not even a judge in this debate.
Okay, I'll let you give your closing first.
Me?
Yeah, go.
Okay. Yeah. So I just want to. Oh, fuck. I just want to close off this debate by saying, like, um, I just remain agnostic while I was questioning my opponent's view. Obviously, my position has been like a little bit skeptical, just asking kind of questions, and it seems that the cosmological argument that's my good interlocutor here didn't really establish the conclusion that they've been wanting to, which is that God exists. So um my opponent did establish or presents a framework, like a Aquinas's view, because I don't know how to pronounce it. And there's essence, existence, distinction, bullshit, principles, sufficient reason, all bullshit, right? Saying that there's a necessary being, bullshit. But those types of metaphysical commitments, it seems that they're okay. We obviously understand that they're like not self-evident truths, and that I was trying to ask is like, why should any agnostic accept this framework over competing frameworks? And we gave one competing framework, which was Humean. And I gave multiple objections that she tried to counter respond to, which she wasn't able to adequately actually respond to. Um, and I understand that the explanatory virtues need to be weighed upon with an independent justification of ontological commitments, but it seems that those foundational assumptions weren't defended independently of the Domus framework, and it seems that I'm still kind of unconvinced that God exists. Or I'm also unconvinced that the argument even succeeds. So I'm just gonna remain agnostic until someone proves that God exists, bro. And that's it. I don't really care about what Rusan
Um,
says on here.
okay,
Yeah, I
Marcy,
mean,
give your closing.
yeah, I just wanted to say that before we even closed, I said openly that I avoided everything. So I mean, yeah, I mean that's
Is that all? Okay. We're gonna bring up the
yeah.
judges now to get a verdict. I'm gonna bring you guys down. I don't want you guys to get mad or interrupt. We'll start with script first.
Dạ. Ê, mà đâu có hả?
I hear you.
Okay, so I mean, taking these notes are actual hell, but I think it's either Incon or Ash One, like really, really, really high diff, like extreme diff, like I'm saying, like fucking horrendous diff. Um, and just because like a lot of the points just weren't justified at all, and like not really, really clear, you guys just kind of skipped on the most important points. Justifying the viewpoint. When Ash, when Ash asked to go back to that point, Marcy really didn't want to. I think if that point was further explained, then we could have gotten like an actual determined winner. But it's like either Incon or Ash one. But yeah, that's my
Well, you
judgment.
have to pick one. Not gonna lie. So
I can just say Incon
three
because the
judges.
other two have the different judgments.
Okay, that's fine then. All right. Where's Will at? Don't bring a Will. I do not see.
Gonna go in New Jersey. Yep. Bang, bang. Hey man, say man, look, this was by far the shittiest debate I've ever seen from these
Bro,
niggas.
just give her.
Shut that shit up. To clarify, Marcy, you are actually fucking retarded. Ash one. It was like really, really high diff. Marcy, but I'm not finished. Chill. Anyways, I don't know why you're hyping up Ash faggy ass, but okay, to clarify, Ash, for some odd reason, I don't know why she didn't just point out the circularity for the judges, but she said that we could posit X view, and what would be the argument that one theoretical model can't be over the other? That was one. Then two, it was given within that theoretical model presented X, why can't we have Y that can be over that theoretical model or just relative to that theoretical model? Whatever the fuck. Marcy responds with, because it's adequate. Okay. So we later go down the road and she gives off a Phoenix example that you don't have to know something to give off a proper explanation because that proper explanation can give you the possibility of conceiving of X. So that was that. Later on is targeted with the Humean account, which she responds with the dumbest shit. She's asking why is it adequate? And she says because it's in depth. Analytically, that is the same fucking thing. So Marcy, you're actually retarded. I'm going to amp you right after this. I swear, wallahi, bro. Anyways, so that's that. She didn't respond to the justification theory or didn't give an adequate response to the justification theory. That's that. I don't think Marcy was really listening at all because she had went AFK a lot. I really noticed that. But I don't think that she responded it. I mean, no, I don't think Ash responded too well to the BC contradiction, just the brute contingency contradiction. I don't think she responded to that too properly or adequately enough. But I think even though she didn't give off an adequate response, it wasn't needed anymore because for some odd reason, this dumb fuck retard, fucking whatever this bitch name is, decided to make this huge
Look, you
fucking
gotta wrap it
deal.
up. You have to wrap it.
Okay. I'm about to I'm about to wrap it up. All right, bro. All right, yeah. My last part is I don't think that Ash tracked anything about the Humean account or the relative theoretical models being posited given within the sets there. She didn't explain properly for the necessary set of the contingency parts, just being the first member of that set. She didn't attack that at all from Ash. It was really, really fucking bad. Ash, I'm gonna amp you, and Marcy, I'm definitely amping you, bitch. You're fucking
Okay,
garbage.
good night. You're done. Before we get the last judge on here, I just want to make it clear, Ash and Marcy, you guys are amazing debaters. Don't let this define you and keep debating, okay? Ari, please accept the
Hi guys. So obviously, okay, I'm not dick eating, but Ash won, and it's because I think Marcy had a really good argument. They used like a classical theist account of like contingent beings in the first they call, so cool. But when asked about their view, it became really circular. I think that's a really good thing. I think that you're supposed to view or like expose like inconsistencies in your person's. Okay, I'm really high, so sorry, but like in here. Okay, that's it. Yeah, Ash won.
All right. So